TWM Podcast. Hello, this is a TWM Talk special as we look at Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2019, live from Chicago, Illinois on October 20th. Huge title matches, international dream matches, and loads more. So let's preview tonight's show. And on top of that, you'll be hearing some interviews from champion and challenger in the main event, Impact World Champion Brian Cage and the number one contender, Sami Callihan. As always, this is a TWM podcast, a part of your basically weekly dose of wrestling news, reviews and interviews, available in all the usual places: Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean, YouTube, and wherever else you get your pods. I want to give a big thank you to Impact Wrestling and Fight TV for making the interviews possible and able to watch Bound for Glory live. If you want to watch it live, you can check it out. If you're in America, check it out on pay-per-view. But if you're anywhere else in the world, Fight TV is the place to be. Fight TV app, fight.tv is the place to watch Bound for Glory 2019. That's how we'll be watching it. We'll be covering it live tweeted coverage. We'll have results, we'll have reviews. We'll be in a special TWM Talks tomorrow, kind of reviewing it. We're previewing it today and we're reviewing it tomorrow, if that makes sense. I think it does. Anyway, I couldn't do this without my co-host and fellow Impact Wrestling fanboy, Mr. Mike Mears.
What's up?
I'm low-key excited for tonight, to be honest.
Yes, it's been bubbling along nicely, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They've been putting some really good matches together, left a bit of intrigue on the card as well, so it should be good. But they haven't let us down the last year and a half. So.
No, yeah, we'll kind of speak about it a little bit in depth. Impact have been quietly going about their business for the last 2 years or so, ever since the takeover came up with Anthem and Don Callis and Scott D'Amore. They've really come in and they've kind of, let's not lie, we'll call it as we see it. They kind of downsized a little bit and kind of almost took themselves back to basics to build themselves back up again. And it works. Like they brought in some big names, built themselves up on big names from independent wrestling, made them into household names. These guys have moved on to other pastures, but they've also built in a very decent bedrock of young talent that has built up alongside this established talent that has now moved on. So I'd say Impact are in a very healthy place, especially with their debut on Access TV, starting this coming Tuesday. Yeah,
it's a big sort of statement show for them, I guess, to come out and say to everybody, like, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do. Join us on Tuesday nights.
I'm incredibly jealous.
American fans, of course.
American fans, of course. I think it's still on 5-star if you're in the on-demand 5 if you're in the UK. I don't know where it is in other places. Go on the Impact website and check it out. I'm a bit jealous of the people that in the US though, because the last couple of weeks they've been getting the pay-per-views for free on Access to build up Impact. And
yeah, they've been doing the Tuesday nights, haven't they? So those people that have lost wrestling on the Tuesday night regained it very quickly.
Yeah, it's pretty busy. Let's not lie here, but normally we cover Impact on the Indie Wrestling Show. We normally cover kind of the Friday Impact would be covered on Wednesday, but obviously Impact is now on a Tuesday, and it's now moving to. This is how it gets confusing. In case you know, programming note, the Impact reviews will no longer be on the Indie Wrestling Show on a Wednesday. They will now be on Best of the Rest on a Friday. Yes, but there's a gap between now and the pay-per-view. So we decided to cover Impact now, so therefore we've kind of all caught up. We've seen the Go Home show before Bound for Glory. No one's confused. I made that sound a lot more complicated than it actually was. But still, we're going to go through Impact. The final Impact on the Pursuit channel before they go over to Access, and the Go Home show before Bound for Glory. Give you a little bit of a taster of what is going on. Michael Elgin of Falabar opened the show. He battered TJP after the match to give a message to Marufuji. He DDT'd him on the unforgiving wooden floor.
The unforgiving sticky wooden floor at Sandsdown Casino.
It's covered in booze.
It looks like every nightclub floor, which you know is covered in alcopops.
Would you want to be DDT'd on a nightclub floor?
Who got DDT'd?
TJP.
That answers your question.
Chair neck and an Elgin bomb. We then also saw Jake Chris, who now has his own introduction to the OVE theme, which is quite funny.
Which he should have. He's the golden draw.
He is. He's the golden draw, and friend of TWM. He's been on the indie wrestling show in a previous time. He beat Chris Bay in a very good match. We also saw Alicia Edwards agreeing to party with Ace Austin if he wins the X Division title. We got a very nice VT for Moose versus Shamrock.
This was really good. This VT. They've really sort of humanized it, which I really, really like.
Yeah, they kind of gave the whole... They really gave a nice origin story to those that aren't aware of Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
And also they built up Moose quite well as being the heel that he is, so...
Although I did find it funny, there was one of the radio segments that called him the Moose.
Yeah, that did bother me. The Moose.
It didn't bother me. I just thought it was hilarious.
It's like they usually all the time. And if anyone's got one name in wrestling, they always seem to always get called the something. Like, I remember Edge, he kept being called the Edge, and I imagine until Bono filed a lawsuit. I remember. Didn't Daniel Bryan constantly keep calling him Ryback the Ryback for the longest period of time?
Yeah, but I imagine that was a rib, probably more than anything.
I imagine it as well. We got Taya cutting a promo about her career. Everyone assumes she's talking to Tenille because the reference that Tenille was in Taya's first match in the Storm Wrestling Academy, but she was talking to herself, to a mirror, which was weird.
Yeah, I actually thought that was a really good promo.
Oh, no, it was a great promo. It was just really weird that she was having this really in-depth conversation with herself. Rich Swann and over Josh Alexander and Rhino in a triple threat tag title match preview. Ethan Page is trying to stir the pot between Swan and Mac and the ECW guys, so they can kind of take advantage. Didn't really work on this one, but regardless.
There was a funny moment where Ethan Page shouts, "Come on, Josh, you're a champion!"
He's not wrong, though. Get you a friend that encourages you like Ethan Page encourages Josh Alexander. Sami Callihan cut I liked the Shamrock Moose one. I love the Sami Callihan promo with the camera, basically the camera at the MySpace angle with the laptop playing his career highlights from Impact. Just brilliant. And him just basically talking about how he keeps getting himself into trouble and he doesn't mean to, but the only way he can kind of rationalise it all is by becoming the Impact champion, and talking about how he proved everyone wrong by getting a big contract at 24, but they wanted to change him, so he walked out. And just, so good.
I like the fact he brought up that he didn't fail and they failed him.
Yeah, it's great because, again, like any good bad guy, all the points he makes are valid points, but he delivers them in such a way. There was a very similar one, kind of going a little bit off piece there. OTT recently did an interview thing with David Starr, and all of his points were he's in the right with everything he's saying, but the way he delivers it made him sound like an evil movie villain. And the same way with Sami, he goes, I didn't mean to hit Eddie in the eye of a baseball bat. I didn't mean to hit Melissa Santos with a bottle. It happened. I just keep getting myself into these accidents, and everyone just blames me rather than admitting it was an accident. But the way he delivers it, he comes across as an evil movie villain, and it's just delivery. The delivery and the aesthetic of the whole VT was just delicious.
The funny thing as well is Impact lost the group of people that were doing all their post-production stuff.
Yeah, so unless they must be doing this all in-house, or Sami's doing it.
It could be either, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it's clearly not affected them because there's 3 segments on this show, which were great.
Yeah, whoever's the big point I was looking at. There's not been, you can't see the join between that team leaving and whatever they've replaced it with.
No, exactly.
Which is great. Rohit Raju and Sabu went to a double count out. Personally, I just really wanted Sabu in this match because it'd be fascinating. Because
it would be.
This is a weird thing to say. Have you noticed Sabu's got a bit Mitsuharu Misawa? As in, there's no facial expression anymore. He just looks...
Oh, yeah, he just does stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just looks constantly annoyed / bothered by it all.
Yeah, but I guess he probably is.
Yeah, it just amused me great to watch him just full on Misawa, just have a camel clutch on and just look like he's constantly left the oven on, just with that on. So he looks like they've got a mystery 5th person There's not because I do believe I went on Wikipedia and whoever edited their Wikipedia got it wrong because they put in Sabu and Mahabali Shira. So whoever's been editing Wikipedia, check your facts, please.
In the words of Halabad, no.
It's just a mystery fifth person. So I imagine Raju and Sabu are out of the equation. So
they must have pulled Junior in from like Japan or someone intriguing from Mexico.
There's got to be a big thing. We can't speculate because we don't know. So Tessa Blanchard got some really good promo about her ladder match at Bound for Glory, and she pretty much confirms her path to Sami Callihan. And also we get to find out, I don't know if this was known before, but the Call Your Shot gauntlet is in agenda, which I am so happy about.
I wasn't aware of it in general until this match sort of happened, and I went, "Oh, it must be intergender."
Yeah,
and it was like, and then they actually brought that up, and I was like, "Okay,
good.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I like that."
Because this was the intergender battle royal, which was great. Mahabali Shira won the battle royal, so he's number 20. And because Eddie came second, he has to. I love this stipulation. It's so harsh because it's like, Eddie, you came second. You have to start the Rumble at number 1. It's not the first person eliminated from the battle royal starts number 1. No, it's the person that gets the silver medal.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
you are the best loser, so therefore you have to. It's just but
the bump that Eddie took on the way out of the ring was horrible.
Yeah, no, it was very, very nasty. You heard Don Callis go, "Oh God," as he went down. So, so Mahabali Shira is going to be the odds-on favourite. And how could you eliminate a giant man like Mahabali Shira? We'll see. We'll find out this Sunday or tonight in Chicago. So they've had 2 shows previously. There's kind of like the best of like they did call it on Impact the best of like independent wrestling at the moment, and they had All Glory on Saturday night, and Prelude to Glory I think was on the Friday. Yeah. And they had some big things. I've not had a chance to watch it yet. I probably will watch it after.
Hulk Hogan made his return. Crazy stuff.
There was Dick the Hammer Dick. There was Benji Ball Return Roberts.
Frank Grab
Hernandez. Shot Taylor. They had they had Ace Romero. They had our boy Gringo Loco, which is awesome. I'm looking at the preview. I've not had a chance to watch it yet, so I'm just kind of and a bunch of places like Wrestling.
Once you look at the preview, because we don't want to read the results and have it spoiled for us.
Yes, of course. I'm not being that new. Got Space Monkey, Ego Robert Anthony from Warrior Wrestling. You've got it looks like a really good guy. You got Kobe Durst, who we saw over Mania weekend, didn't we, for Black Label Pro, and he's doing it for Black Label Pro, and it has Alex Zane and Blake Christian on, which is
never 2 men to never disappoint.
Tremendous. One of the interesting ones, I'm imagining this might have changed. I don't know. I'll see when I watch it. It was I'm going to go watch it when I get a chance, because it's on the Impact Twitch channel. I generally just remembered that the All Glory thing, so you can go watch it for free over on the Impact Twitch channel. They've got a Zello Pro Wrestling Women's Title match, which is Lainey Luck, the champion, Kylie Ray, and Shotzi.
She appears to have signed. She's announced she's signing with WWE.
Yeah,
but I don't believe she's signed yet.
Yeah,
everybody's got to have their little goodbye to the indies, other than Chuck Taylor.
The I's have not been crossed and the T's have not been dotted. So
all of the T's are crossed because Triple H did them, and he always does the T's first.
Is that an insider knowledge that you know?
It is, yes.
Inside.
Well, if he doesn't cross the T's, then his name's not in there properly. I guess it works for the I's as well.
Yeah. You liar! You've been outed, sir. Right. We are, I think this is a good time as any, to bring up our first interview from this, to hype up Bound for Glory. Earlier this week, we had our reporter, Shirleigh. That's right, we got a reporter this week. Shirleigh sit down with the Impact World Champion, Brian Cage, and have a chat about Bound for Glory and his career in Impact so far. It's a double interview because you have Brian Cage and also his little baby girl, who desperately wanted to be on this podcast, because you can hear her a little bit throughout the podcast. So apologies for any kind of loud screaming sounds. Brian Cage has just got a kid. He's a new dad. There's nothing much you can do about it. So enjoy Shirleigh at home via the internet with the Cage family.
Hello, this is Shirleigh for TWM Talks, and I am here with the current Impact World Champion, the Machine, Brian Cage. Now, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. This is really interesting. I almost called it TNA. I almost did, but I made sure I said Impact. And I made sure on the thing I wrote Impact in big bold letters there. But yeah, I'm doing really good. It's really great to be able to talk to you today, because I know you've had a really great year. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you about the year you've had. Because coming up on the 20th of October, you are defending your title against Sami Callihan.
I think I just lost you.
You just lost me. Right, one sec. Let me just try.
I heard defending and then it stopped.
Oh, okay. I heard some weird, like, screechy sounds.
Nothing happened. I don't know.
So I can still hear you. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I just heard defending and it went out, yeah.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. So I'll try and do that again. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Hi everyone, this is Shirley for TWM Talks, and I am joined by the current Impact World Champion, the Machine, Brian Cage. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. It's really exciting to be able to talk to you, especially with the year that you've had this year in Impact Wrestling and just across the United States and the world, really. So let's get straight into it. So you are a former bodybuilder, from what I've found out, in California?
Nope, you are wrong with that one. I'm not just taking down. I am a pro wrestler who just happened to bodybuild.
Yeah.
So I guess I did bodybuilding, but the way you said it, I was defensive over because you were acting. I'm just some bodybuilder trying to pretend to be a wrestler, like so many have. And that's not the case. I was a wrestler years before I ever did any bodybuilding.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, from the way in which you wrestle, you can tell that you're not just a bodybuilder like people have come in the past. And that's what's really refreshing about you, is you can tell that you've got the wrestling in you. So when people say that, is that like, you don't like people saying that because then there's that connotation of you're just...
Yeah, well, even though like I love bodybuilding, it was like a little passion, fun hobby, and I also live the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm out and about too, and in the airport or whatever, people are like, "Oh man, are you a pro bodybuilder?" I was into like, sports. I mean, I'm not, but I always go, "Nope, I'm a pro wrestler," just because that's always what I've wanted to do my whole life. That's what I want to be represented with. And when people exactly have that connotation, think that I'm a bodybuilder turned wrestler, it's just not as an actor, but yeah, just because of the I guess the type of wrestlers that have gone that route don't match up well with me, so I don't like to articulate.
So who did you grow up watching in pro wrestling, and who really inspired you to get into pro wrestling?
Sean and Razor were my favorite when I started getting more educated into it when I was growing up, and then the three Chris's are the ones that I wanted to emulate in the ring. That's Chris Kanyon, Chris Jericho, and Chris Benoit. Yeah,
those, like, so you wanted to go more the technical route?
It wasn't, I do appreciate that too, but it was like a combination of everything from them, like as far as, Benoit's intensity and striking, and then his physique, and Jericho's agility and charisma, and mic works, and Canyon's innovative offense and bumping, and so there's multiple factors from each of them that I thought together would be like the perfect hybrid.
Yeah, so that's what you come across as, you're the hybrid in professional wrestling, and this isn't your first time in Impact. So you were in it from 2012 to 14. And looking back, how have you changed from that initial run in Impact?
I only had a few brief recurrences. I had a couple of darts. I did the gut check, and then I was there last week for the Destination X show. Really together from Destination X to now hasn't been as much of a change. It's I guess you love just experience or whatnot, but from the first few go around with them, a lot of change as far as just my overall character and presentation, my look, my size, and my ability. Like pretty much everything is adapted just because it was so much longer ago. But the Destination X, I felt like I should have already been there. Truth be told, actually.
Yeah.
Me and I think most every fan and pretty much majority of the locker room thought that I should have been there and won during gut check too.
Yeah, I remember watching that gut check, and you were one of the standouts in that gut check. So it was surprising when you didn't win it.
Yeah, everyone was surprised and blown away, and I was even had an Impact official at that time tell me backstage that I was that was perfect. Like, you have the look, you have the ability, you have this, you have that. He literally said, "You're exactly what we're looking for." Yet I didn't win. Okay, well, how that then? No shit on Jay Bradley, but he won. I think I released, and here I am years later, the world champion. So maybe they could go ahead and agree that he probably made a mistake there.
Yeah. So, were you re-signed then in 2018? And it almost sounds like you had a bit of a point to prove, where you didn't succeed in the gut check, and you've now come back and you won the X Division title that you didn't get the opportunity to have a go at all those years ago. Do you think that the locker room had something to do with that, and the changes in the locker room?
The locker room there? Has it changed?
So, talking the people who you're surrounding with, and those people who you've come to know on the independent scene, and looking at how that's different now, how the Impact locker room is very much, you can see everyone dance together. Would you say that's along the right lines?
I still was losing a little bit, but from what I gathered from it, maybe I can answer it right, but the locker room, when I got there, well, first and foremost, actually, the locker room when I got there, even my very first time, was still very star-studded. Mm-hmm. I would say that the big release there, though, was being the only time with WWE, being in a bunch of WWE shows, you're still always constantly walking on eggshells. You're always paranoid and worried to get heat for this or heat for that or whatever. I remember my first time at Impact, I'm super respectful, don't want to do anything, and just the overwhelming just how welcome I was as a relative of no one, and I could go eat cater, I could go sit here, I could go change here, I could do this and that. It was outstanding. So the feeling of comfortability and how it was just almost like a normal whatever whole little indie show was so cool. I'm like, oh man, there's no stress or worry at all. And that felt amazing. That was the first time I could be in a high profile locker room and have that feeling, and that hasn't changed at all throughout any of my stay duration through Impact. But yeah, being able to be around guys like that and having them, like seeing and Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle up there and be cool like that, and then also one for a little surprise that I didn't win gut check. And until now, the camaraderie and the overall talent backstage in the locker room has been great, and probably one of the better, tight-knit group. I feel like we all really get along rather than just get along for professional courtesy or acquaintances. It's a really fun environment to be backstage in the locker room.
And now you're the face of that as the Impact World Champion. So what does that really mean to you, being the Impact World Champion now?
It's fantastic. What I wanted my whole life, everybody wants to be, the big guy, the guy on top, the world champion. If you're in this business and you don't, then I don't know what you're doing in this business. And that was always $1 million question. Everybody's asking, I've never been, the champion or guy anywhere. And I didn't really have an answer for that. So, I thought it was a little long overdue, and I never even had the opportunity to try to fulfill it. And then, better late than never, and here we are now. So,
it seems like...
Go ahead.
So it seems like 2019 has been your year, because not only have you succeeded professionally, you've succeeded personally with meeting Melissa Santos, and you've married her this year.
Yeah, and I'll say too, I've had a lot of cool things and cool opportunities happen throughout 2019. I did win my world title. I did get married. Coincidentally, though, both of those huge nights, two of the biggest nights of my life, both nights actually ended up spending in the emergency room.
Oh.
Because of wrestling. So it was almost like a bittersweet thing going on, because I won the title. I got hurt in my match, and it wasn't at all I expected my big neck to go down. And that was pretty mentally defeating and depressing because it was like, oh yeah, I finally did it, but at the same time I was like, oh, this isn't how I wanted it. It almost like tarnished it.
Yeah.
At least just to me, personally. And getting back to that and pushing through the injury probably too much too soon, and I wasn't. I legit wasn't medically cleared to go for Slammiversary. It wasn't just an angle storyline, and I did. And I bet Elgin and I tore the house down. Had an amazing match, but that had repercussions. And I got married a couple days afterwards.
Oh my gosh!
And my back were still beat up from the match, just being on my feet all day long, and tux and everything on the wedding day. It just started to swell up so much. It actually blocked and pinched off all the nerves to my back, like going up my back and down my leg. And by the end of the night, I was in just probably the worst pain I've ever been in my life. And I've had some heavy injuries, and I did not want to go to the ER. I tried to resist it as long as I could until it was about 1 in the morning, and it was only getting worse and worse, minute by minute. So at that point, I tapped out, and we went and spent the rest of the night in the hospital. So it wasn't exactly the picture perfect wedding night honeymoon, but
it just sounds like something you'd see on TV.
I'm sorry. Speaking of that too, my daughter's running around.
I was literally about to talk about her because I know you have a daughter with Melissa, and it seems like with wrestling couples, you seem like quite a tight couple.
Yeah, she's actually doing the photo shoot right now, and I got a friend over, and they're running around doing laps in the kitchen in the house. So that's hectic noise in the background.
Yeah. I work with children. I work as a primary school teacher. I completely understand children running around screaming.
I mean, I'd rather run around screaming in enjoyment rather than screaming in terror tantrum rage. So
yeah, and hiding in a corner when things go completely wrong. Yep, I understand that feeling.
Yeah.
But it must be great to have Melissa to share all of this with you, because I know you recently got married on Impact Television as well.
Yes. We also got married there as well, which also, funny enough, that night obviously they ended out much better than our wedding outside of Impact either.
Yeah.
But it has been great to have Melissa be able to share everything with her. Especially too, actually, the night that I was in the hospital when I won the title, because she was there with me. So again, wasn't the moment I wanted to be, but it was thankful that she's been there and been able to be a part of it all. And I hope actually her being involved with everything going into Bound for Glory too will help her get more of a presence on TV and lead to her doing more as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that lights a fire under you, knowing what happened with Melissa and Sami at that wedding. It must light a fire under you to just completely beat the shit out of him.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I told people, he was worried about me, raging and running down there. I'm like, it was actually better if it's probably me coming after him than her, because I've seen that side, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
So, it's much more intimidating and scary than Sami Callihan is. So it's not a pleasant sight.
You shouldn't anger a woman, ever. Just don't ever do it.
No, especially the Latin one, no?
Yeah.
No.
But how do you think this would have all been different if Tessa Blanchard had won against Sami Callihan? Because I know you two had a rivalry going on around in the American independent scene. Do you think that Tessa should be in the match instead of Sami?
Technically Sami won, regardless of how he did it. I mean, I guess it is what it is. Tessa and I are actually really great friends. I know we've had a couple of matches on the independent scene, especially the one from Red Circuit, that really turned a lot of heads and broke some ground. Yeah. And I kind of thought that maybe that was what was going to happen. Tessa's still making history, and she's doing her thing. So even though that match may not be happening now, Bound for Glory, doesn't mean that match will still be happening. So we'll see where the road takes her. She's doing some pretty breakout stand-up stuff, and now she's going to be fighting for the X Division title. So she can always end up with the X title and cash off and see like I did. Yeah. Maybe we'll get that match anyhow. So
yeah, because in Impact you've got the option C where you can change it over to be a world title shot.
Exactly.
So there's that option.
We'll see what happens. there's definitely a future possibility there.
Yeah, and I think you'd be, like, seeing your matches, like, on Wrestle Circus and other places, you'd seem to be the right person to go up against Tessa and make that history together.
Yeah, I'm sure we would tear it down. I mean, and not to discredit Sami and Tessa either. Their matches, both of them were
incredible.
Very great, so.
They were incredible matches. And I'm guessing also with the new move to AXS, getting that publicity out there on AXS TV just brings more eyes to that sort of intergender wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm stoked that we made that jump and that we're going to have so many more eyes on our product, because I'm going to be biased. I'm part of this product, but in fact, it's a lot of unwarranted hate. A lot of people too that try to talk negatively about it. Funny enough, don't even watch the product, don't even talk negatively about it.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I think it's produced some of the most consistent storylines and matches on TV, period, bar any company. And it's just a shame that not enough people have seen it or even able to see it. Yeah. And I'm thinking that'll, that's going to gradually change here. People will have some more appreciation and realization of just how great and good Impact is and is going to continue to be.
Yeah. And I think that with this current roster that you've got, everyone seems so determined to make Impact that big brand that everyone wants to see. Like, you've got such a great roster and you're the face of it all. And I wish you good luck with Bound for Glory and everything else. That I'm sure it's going to be an amazing pay-per-view. So if this is an opportunity now for you to promote anything you'd like to promote, your social medias or anything, the floor's yours.
Well, I appreciate you having me. Yes, thank you for good luck at Bound for Glory. I don't think I'll need it. I'm pretty well-mannered, cool-tempered right now, but yes, I plan on running through Sami Callihan, and I've done it before, so I'm not going to do it again. And but yeah, my part of social media, Instagram Brian Cage, Twitter Mr. GMSI_BCage. It's a ridiculous name. I don't remember, but I have a blue check mark, so I can't change it.
Yes.
But yeah. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the weekend, and we'll talk for what weekend that is, not this weekend. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Why not spread? I said, why not spread the gospel of the TWM squad with some of our lovely merch over at Teespring? We have t-shirts for all shapes and sizes, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and loads more. Also, just for listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off your order. I said using the code podcast. That's podcast. Once again, podcast in the checkout for 10% off at teespring.com/stores/TWM-wrestling-merch. That's right. Praise. Testify.
Big thanks to the Impact World Champion Brian Cage and Shirleigh for sitting down with him. You'll hear from Shirleigh later on when she also sat down with the number one contender for the Impact World Championship, Sami Callihan. That'll come up in a little bit. But now we are going to preview tonight's Bound for Glory pay-per-view. We're going to start off with the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match for a shot at any Impact Championship. The Gauntlet match, a staple of Impact / TNA. Very similar to, but it's basically a Rumble match, but a slightly different Rumble match. 20 people. The winner of that can basically call their shot for any championship they please. The people we know so far that look to be in it are Rosemary, Havoc, Kira Hogan, Johnny Swinger, Adam Thornstowe, Lust of the Legend, Gamma Singh Jr., I believe. Raj. Is it Raj Singh? I can't remember. One of the Raj Singh, the Desi Hit Squad guy, the tall guy that's not Mahabali Shira. Mahabali Shira's in it. Eddie Edwards, and trying to think other people that would have been in there. I think that's everyone that was in that battle royal that had been confirmed for it.
We'll probably get Disco Inferno, come on.
Oh, probably. Let's not lie here. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. If you want to check out, by the way, yesterday, Shirleigh put out her predictions for Bound for Glory up on twm.news, and she had a very, very interesting shout, and I'm going to go for this as my pick for this gauntlet. This person has the noble handicap of technically being dead at this point, but Su Yung.
Yeah, I was only thinking this week how they hadn't actually announced anything match-wise for.
Johnny thought you were saying they haven't announced the death of Su Yung yet.
Well, technically, she's undead, not actually dead.
Yeah, we had this conversation before. She was undead before, and then she was dead, then came back to life. So we don't know where she is in this situation. She might have become her own grandma at this point. We don't know.
Basically, I think we should start calling her Highlander Sue.
she is the one.
She's basically immortal,
and we're not talking about Billy Gunn. Yeah, I'm going Su Yung. I generally think we're going to have a big shock appearance by Su Yung, and she's going to walk away with the.
Well, we're either going to get a big sort of moment with the two, and she's just there, and we get a big moment with Su Yung, or we get a moment where somebody completely unexpected comes in, maybe around about 12-15.
The other shout, I thought, I don't know about you, was Eddie winning it and inserting himself into the X Division ladder match.
It's a shout. It's very, very possible.
Yeah. Basically to stop Ace Austin winning the belt. Unless they're going to put the belt. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Have you got any ideas, or are you just... Because it's a gauntlet, it's literally impossible to predict. We don't know who's in it.
Yeah, that's always the issue, that you just don't really know. I would like to see Chris Baby in it, because his past couple of appearances for Impact have been really good. But no, as a winner, genuinely got no idea. It could be anybody.
Yeah,
it could even be Nick Gage. That's my pick. I'm going with Nick fucking Gage.
I love it. There we go to the next one, which is a match that I'm very, very excited about. The Rascals going up against Dr. Wagner Jr., Taurus, and Aerostar. This all began, in case you don't know, maybe you listen to this as a bit of a primer before you watch Bound for Glory. Dr. Wagner Jr. came and made an appearance at Impact and made a challenge to any 3 Impact stars to face him and 2 other AAA luchadors. The Rascals picked up the challenge, and then a few weeks ago Dr. Wagner Jr. Announced that Taurus and Aerostar were going to be his choices. Now, the Rascals are probably one of the biggest success stories in the last 12 months from Impact, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. Probably them or the North, maybe. Yeah,
Des, Trey, and Wentz are 3 of the kind of best pure athletes in professional wrestling today. Tremendous high flyers, high risk talent, and they have got the crowd massively on side with them. They are not only tremendous wrestlers, they are tremendous entertainers. But this is going to be a very stern test, because they are going against a legend of Mexican wrestling and probably 2 of the best luchadors in the world at the moment, Mike.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a match for them to raise their game on. But if you were going to entrust a match like this in anybody's hands, of the whole roster, then it would be these 3.
Yeah. I think the obvious choice to say is this match could possibly steal the show.
Yeah. But my big question, and as soon as the pay-per-view starts, I'm going to be very eagle-eyed looking around the arena, because there must be somewhere reasonably high that Aerostar's going to dive off, because that's what happens.
Yeah. I'm hoping he just has his platform from Triple Mania.
As long as he gets his video that pushes him off as well.
Yes! Just have you heard the video that shoves him off the platform. If you've not seen that, Google it. It's generally one of the most unintentionally funny things I've ever seen. Yeah, this match is going to be tremendous. This is your, you've got 2, international kind of dream matches going on, and this is definitely one of them. The other one is Michael Elgin against Naomichi Marufuji. Sorry. I don't know about you. I don't know if you have, but I've seen Marufuji wrestle. So I know this man can bring it in a big match. I saw Marufuji wrestle Pete Dunne, and he is very, very, very good. Very, very good.
It's no coincidence that for their biggest show they've brought in, because really he is a big name.
He is.
I think he's the sort of name that is big enough for people like ourselves to know, yeah, I know who this is, massive deal, get excited for, but there's enough casual fans of them go, I don't really know who this is.
Yeah, well, he is...
And this could be a real coming out party for him.
Would you dare say that he's the ace of Noah at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, that'd probably.
Marufuji's like if Tanahashi's the ace of New Japan, then definitely Marufuji is the ace of Noah. And he's going up against Michael Elgin, who, whether you like him or whether you don't, has pretty much gone through a tear since he made his debut in Impact at the last pay-per-view, which I think was on... What was the last pay-per-view called? I can't remember now.
The last pay-per-view was Slammiversary.
Slammiversary, but that was when he made his debut, after Brian Cage won the belt.
Yeah.
And he's been going through, putting people in the hospital, being a naughty boy, bad boys. And he made the challenge to Marufuji, saying basically that Marufuji's been ducking him when he was in Japan, and in face Marufuji, so on and so forth. Yeah, no, I'm very intrigued because this is a very different match. I mean, Marufuji is a lot of strikes. He's a kind of very similar to Shingo in the way he kind of floats between junior and heavyweight. Like I think Marufuji's been like a junior tag champion, and he's won the GHC belt on I think several occasions. But he's going up against a pure heavyweight in Michael Elgin.
Yeah, I think it will be one of those rare matches where he's definitely the smaller guy.
Yeah. But that doesn't really mean a lot when it comes to Marufuji, because I've seen him beat people twice his size before, so this is going to be very, very interesting. It depends if we get the best kind of Michael Elgin, which was kind of big game, like Japanese Michael Elgin, where we would bring the fight. I feel like we're going to get Marufuji will get the best out of Michael Elgin, no question.
He's definitely going to. This is like, I think this is going to be Elgin's almost like coming out party for Impact.
Yeah, I would
really like. I think he's going to win this, to be honest, but I think he's going to look like phenomenal doing it as well. I'm
going Marufuji. I reckon Marufuji's going to win it. Actually, we didn't say who we think would win the Rascals and Team Triple-A. I'm going the Rascals on that one.
Yeah, I'm going the Rascals as well.
Yeah, they need a big statement win, especially after losing to the Desi Hit Squad a few weeks ago. Then we get to a match that I think I'd file this under. I don't know why I'm excited to watch this, but I really am. Ken Shamrock versus Moose. I feel like it's the great nostalgia, but still legitimate tough guy act that Ken Shamrock is. Because everyone goes, hey, Ken Shamrock, it's the guy from the Attitude Era. Everyone was Ken Shamrock. Step into the zone. Good God, that man is the most ridiculously jacked human being on the planet and is still legitimately terrifying, even though he's pushing 50 at this point. But this has been pretty much carried upon because Ken cut a decent promo and he's kind of done some notable bits. But this has been based on just Moose being a dick, to be honest.
I agree with you there, but then also going back to when we were talking about Sami Callihan on how when you can't argue, like a good heel is when they bring up points that you can't argue with, and he's just like he's there defending Impact. That's why he's there, and he's like, no, I came here, I worked my ass off, I made my spot. You want to just come back in now just because you've got your new no holds barred, bare knuckle boxing promotion starting. You want to try and get some notoriety off that. But he's like, Moose is almost like, I'm not going to let you do that, and I'm going to show you why. And don't get me wrong, he has belittled mixed martial arts as a sport and like the technique involved. He also befriended Frank Trigg, which is the ultimate sin. Yeah, well, less said about that, the better. Let's just hope he's not there on Sunday. But it does also make him. It gives that thing where it's like, no, it makes him deplorable, and it makes him the heel in all of this. Yeah. Hey, just think he could have got TOTs there with him. Yeah, but TOTs is busy doing other things. Doing other things like fighting Alberto Del Rio. And people arguing with it whether it's going to be an actual fight or not. Oh, wrestling. Sorry, in context, Alberto El Patron for Impact listeners. They don't know. I don't know what this Del Rio person is. El Patron. I see. They might think it's the man from Del Monte and get really confused. I'm just throwing cans of peaches at TOTs. What a weird image. Who are you going for, Shamrock or Moose? I'm going to go Shamrock because I think they're going to give Moose a bigger win down the line from it. I'm going Moose. I feel like they're going to keep pushing Moose. I think he's going to...
I don't know what they're doing. I think they're just going to keep giving him wins to keep him ticking over until there's a right time for him to be champion. I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up beating whoever beats Sami for the belt, because spoiler alert, I'm going for Sami in the main event. Whoever beats Sami for the belt, I feel like the session's going to be, because we've done it before. I do think Sami's winning the belt, Tessa's going to beat him for the belt, and I would be shocked if down the line Moose then beats Tessa for the Impact title.
Do you know what I would totally dig is if they put this match on quite early in the show, maybe like first, probably second, because I don't think you'd want to put it on first. That you put the Rascals match on first.
I would say
to get everybody hyped up. And then the Gauntlet is later in the show, and Moose like literally forces his way into the Gauntlet.
Does a Nia Jax?
Yeah, just keeps this title shot in the back of his pocket. Just takes his. He's like, I'll tell you when I'm going to announce when I'm going to take it, or when I'm going to take it.
Yeah. We've then also got the X Division Championship ladder match as Jake Crist against Tessa Blanchard, against Darga, against Ace Austin, against To Be Decided. Yeah, like I think we've said before, like we are just all of our money's on Tessa Blanchard, because Tessa Blanchard has been the best wrestler in Impact this year.
It's definitely the trends in that direction to for it to be Tessa. You remember what it was like a couple of years ago when we were all like, no, Travis Banks is winning Super Strong Style and he's going on, he's going to beat Pete Dunne for the belt. You know, it's very prophetic.
Yeah.
But this is like...
It's in a very similar way. That time was everyone knew that was happening, but we were all excited to see it. Sometimes when you know something's happening, you're kind of like, oh, whatever is going to happen now, but it's too obvious. And this time we're like, we know what the road they're going on. We know hopefully the road they're going on, which is Tessa winning the world title down the line. We are on board on this journey and we're excited for the destination.
Yeah, that's the big thing, because as long as things... All right, I don't know how they're going to come together, but like we're pretty sure we know the end game of all of this.
Yeah.
But it's even a big step for her to realistically win the X Division title.
Oh, yeah, it's a massive deal, and it takes us one step closer to getting... Because, like, they are now pushing forward the agenda stuff in Impact, which is fantastic, because it's professional wrestling. It's not women's wrestling and males wrestling. It is professional wrestling. If you're telling, like we said before, if you're telling me that you can't see Havoc or Rosemary beating up one of the male wrestlers in Impact, then I feel like you're not really understanding what wrestling is. So we've still got some wild cards there. I honestly, I'm going Tessa, but I would not be shocked if they do a bit of a swervy boy and Ace Austin ends up nicking the belt. And they kind of prolong the Tessa story a little bit further. Maybe she finds another way. Maybe she enters the Call Your Shot Gauntlet later on in the night.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no. So I think we're both going Tessa, I would say.
Yeah, definitely Tessa.
This is going to be insane because Darga's ridiculous. Ace Austin's going to do some mad stuff off ladders, and Jake Crist is
mental.
Yeah, Jake Crist is going to cut someone off a ladder, balance on top of a ladder, on top of Aerostar, on top of Aerostar's platform,
through 73 tables,
as Aerostar's video pushes them all off.
And then Aerostar comes down with his little lighter and sets fire to himself.
Oh God, no! As New Jack looks on, going, "This is ridiculous."
For them to then cut to the Human Torch in the crowd going and shrugs his shoulders
as he's denied a bank loan. Anchorman joke. I'm intrigued whether what they're going to do. I don't know whether they're going to whack both in and make it a 6-way, or we're going to get some sort of mystery surprise person, like maybe, I don't know, Don calls in a favour from Japan, or we get someone from Mexico, or maybe someone... No, I'd love someone kind of had made a big name for themselves off of the All Glory show, like Alex Zane. Alex Zane, if he imagine that they whacked him in that match, because we've seen how crazy he is just in a wrestling match, let alone with a ladder.
Do you know what would be great is he made his Ring of Honor debut recently on their TV tapings. He's been courted by WWE and AEW. Fuck it. Jake Atlas just rocks up.
Yeah, get Jake Atlas on, yeah. Someone, anyone. Space Monkey. Get Space Monkey in that match. We might see him
check where he is in orbit.
We might be in the Gauntlet. I wonder if we can get a bunch of the guys from All Glory and Parade to Glory in the Gauntlet match. That'll be quite cool.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah, hopefully. Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championship. This one for me is the hardest one to call. in regards of who's going to win. You've got the North defending the belts against Rob Van Dam and Rhino, and Rich Swann and Willie Mack. This is based around, I think, Rob Van Dam and Rhino have beaten the North, and Willie Mack and Rich Swann have beaten the North, and North obviously come off a very dominating kind of 2 victories over LAX, where they kicked LAX out of Impact.
No. If you listen to Josh on Impact this week, he said they retired LAX, to be precise.
They retired the name of LAX. They totally haven't turned up somewhere else under a different name. And yeah, so this is the whole thing. But Ethan Page, because he a clever boy, is trying to stir the pot between Rob Van Dam and Rhino and Willie Swann and Rich Mack as they...
Willie Swann, that's definitely a porn star.
They basically try to cause dissension so the North can capitalise. This is really hard to call. I don't know who's winning this.
This for me is it's a match I'm least excited for on the whole card. It's not thrown together because it's been building since the last since the Mexico tapings, when obviously LAX were retired, but I just kind of feel like, 3 of these guys were in the same in the tag title match last year, and I'm just like, can we just move on from this?
Yeah, the thing is though, I feel like it's one of those ones. This could still be a bit of a sleeper because, like we've said before, when Van Dam returned, Van Dam might be slower, but it's not a lot slower. He's about 1 mile an hour slower. He's still pulling off all the stuff he was pulling off in WWE. So he's fine. Rhino is Rhino. Rhino's just going to be great for a hot tag. Rich Swann.
Yeah, but don't you just feel like they're just wheeling these guys out for the whole sake of it? There's no actual excitement in this feud.
Yeah, because this is the weird thing. The Rob Van Dam Rhino thing was based off the whole Conan thing, wasn't it? Conan brought out Rob Van Dam and Rhino.
Conan was like, "Oh, I've still got friends."
Yeah, so. Yeah.
And it was like, ECW, and I was like, fuck me, that's a tenuous link there.
So I'm intrigued by this, because there's a lot of people in it I enjoy. I reckon the North are retaining the belts, regardless.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they've got somebody coming in that can make a difference.
Another match is going to be good. I think personally this is the one that I'm kind of least looking excited about. I don't want to sound like we're being too negative and stuff, because that's why we're trying to say least looking forward to. Because it's probably still going to be good. There's not really a dud match on the card, if we're honest.
Oh, no. No, there's definitely not.
But for me, Taya Valkyrie against Tenille Dashwood, I just feel like with all the back and forth, I really wish this was Taya versus Rosemary. It may be just me. I feel like Rosemary should be in this, or it should be a triple threat. But Tenille's come in, and basically Tenille's the new big name in Impact, and Taya's the established talent. I just don't see... I think Tenille needs a bit longer in the oven. She's not ready yet. She's not fully proven. She needs to be more cooked, if we're doing a bake-off analogy. I want Taya to win.
She's needed the dough, and she just hasn't left it proof yet. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's the ingredients are there, and you just need to let it sit for a while to build up, and then, strike while the iron's hot. I don't think the iron's even been turned on yet.
Tenille came in, interrupted Taya. Tenille's then beaten Madison Rayne, Kiera Hogan, and then Madison Rayne and Kiera Hogan in a triple threat match, whereas Taya's been basically just looking around for anyone to beat up Tenille for her, with literal no effect whatsoever.
But they've done that, and then this week they give her that promo.
Yeah,
which is the complete antithesis of everything she's done for the past 8 weeks.
But then you could say maybe that she's tried everything, so now she's realised, no, I have to take this seriously rather than trying to find the easy way out. I said this match is going to be good. My head says Tenille's winning. I feel like, because obviously Taya's had the belt for ages, and it'd be to have a
longest reigning women's champion.
Yeah, knockouts champion. But I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to say Taya.
I think Taya retains. But then also on the same side, I'm a bit intrigued because I know she is in the UK for a little while next month.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Is she out of contract?
I don't think she is. I think she's locked down, as far as I know. Not against her will. I'm saying it's not a hostage situation, but I think she's around for a while. Maybe she's taking a small break. Maybe this is the right time to pull the trigger on Tenille, and maybe have her just prove herself a little bit more and rise up with the belt. It's not exactly they're putting it on a nobody. Tenille's got a name value. So it just seems a lot longer than it was that she was in the other place.
It just seems really weird that I don't know if you've had enough time there to create the link between Tenille and Impact.
Yeah, it's like maybe it's the fact that we've still got much like I said before that when AJ Styles, former obviously Impact Wrestling talent, went to WWE, that he needed to get kind of a little bit of the old TNA kind of off of him, and New Japan helped, and he went to WWE. Maybe with Tenille, we've still got a little bit of that Ring of Honor on her, and the fact that how they wasted that potential to have her lead their division by having her barely used, and then obviously she got injured, and then after that they just didn't use her again. So
I just don't really see her as like. It's weird, but I don't really see her as like an Impact talent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe she needs more time.
Got that like natural like link with it.
Well, we'll see. The proof is in the pudding, or in the wrestling match. We'll find out tonight in Chicago.
We'll see who will rise to the top.
More cake references. Right, before we go and preview the main event, I think it's time for our second interview. So we're going to go back over to Charlie, who this time is talking to the number one contender for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. It is the Callihan Death... Stop with that. It is the Callihan Death Machine, the draw. It is Sami Callihan.
I am here with the number one contender to the Impact World Championship, Sami Callihan. Now, how are you, Sami?
I am fantastic here at Access Studios in Los Angeles, California. Been killing it with media today, giving really good interviews because, like I said, I'm really good at interviews.
So with the move to AXS, I'm guessing that gives you a lot more exposure out in America. So how does that feel to be able to get that bigger platform now?
It feels great. It's something that Impact Wrestling has needed for a long time, and we've had one of the best wrestling programs in all of wrestling for the last year. We're edgy. We're not afraid to offend people. We cross that line sometimes. And now the entire world's going to be able to see us. Millions of homes in America are going to be able to watch Impact Wrestling every Tuesday night at 8 p.m.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, like the locker room has been very strong, especially in the past year, where you can see everyone's really stepped up and everyone's kind of together in this cause to make Impact a big company again. So what's it like being surrounded by people who are motivating to be around?
It's fantastic. And right now, I put our roster head-to-head with almost any roster in professional wrestling. Like, pound for pound, we have a little bit of everything, and we have an excellent roster that can compete with anyone in the world.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things, especially for us out in the UK, was having Chuck Mambo out.
One more time, I'm sorry?
So having Chuck Mambo out for us in the UK, that was a big deal to see him on Impact.
100%. Mambo is one of the guys that I had actually brought over. He stayed with me for about a month, and I got him on some shows out here. He's an amazing talent, and I love seeing Mambo get that opportunity to show Impact Wrestling what he can do. I'd love to see Mambo more at Impact Wrestling because he's a truly special character and performer that I think connects with people.
Yeah, and he's, especially this year, I think he's really come out of his, like, shell per se, because when I first started seeing him, he was quite like just a surfer dude, but now he's showing those levels of a professional wrestler. Is there anyone else out here that you see that in, because you do a lot out here as well?
There's a lot of people in England that's always great. Like, and if I had to say like one young talent other than Mambo that I'd love to see in Impact Wrestling, it'd be Dan Mahoney. I think Dan Mahoney is pound for pound one of the best guys in all of England right now. And I think he's like 20, 21 years old. He's unlimited upside.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have a completely killer year next year, and maybe bringing him over would be a good idea to give him that exposure out in America.
100%. I'd love to get him over to work for my company, the Wrestling Revolver.
Yeah, and would you house him as well then?
I have legit known Dan Mahoney since he was like 11 years old. I would do anything I could for Dan Mahoney, even though he's grown into a big, thick boy now.
Yeah, he is quite big from the last time I saw him. He's huge. And his Twitter game is very strong as well.
100%. He has great theme music. Dun, 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 dan, dun, dun, dan, dan, dan. It's my favorite music in wrestling. I have it on my workout list. I love it quite all.
So you said Dan Mahoney in terms of who you'd like to see out there. He's got that brawler style down now, and he's kind of like a hybrid wrestler, in my opinion.
He looks different. There's not a lot of wrestlers in the United States or the world that looks like him and of his descent.
Yeah, and that kind of feeds into your style. You can see a lot of you in Dan Mahoney's style. What made you choose your style of wrestling?
My style of wrestling is a buffet of different wrestling styles. I've taken a little bit from all over the world, wherever I've trained at the time. But my biggest influences had to have been Terry Funk, the Stan Hansons, Mick Foley, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all wrapped into one character. And
that comes across. You can see all those assets in you. Is there any that you feel are stronger when you do it, or does it change depending?
It always changes. I always like to evolve and become a different Sami Callihan, because people in real life, they change all the time.
Yeah, and they evolve and adapt to whatever surroundings they're in. So, for example, when you're in CCW, you bring out more that Terry Funk side, and then in other companies, you bring out the Stone Cold side. Is that where we're getting at with this?
One more time, I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you see different sides of you depending on what company you go to. So, for example, in CCW, you give more of the Mick Foley side.
100%. It all depends what I'm feeling at that moment. That's what I love about being a professional wrestler. I can go do a death match in Japan one day, and the next day be in Memphis and do a crazy old school match.
Yeah. So you are set to face Brian Cage for the Impact World Championship in the main event of Bound for Glory on the 20th of October.
Yes.
So
Chicago, Illinois.
So
sold out as of today.
Yes.
Big announcement.
So
Impact Wrestling is officially sold out. Bound for Glory, a building that I'm not going to name what company, but other companies have ran and only draw like 300 people.
Yeah, but I think that's a testament to fans exploring other options. I was going to ask, how does it feel to know you've sold out a building like in Chicago?
You're welcome. I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm in the main event. I'm about to become the face of this company, and the building sells out in Chicago, a market that I believe that I helped build.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I had Brian Cage on the phone on Tuesday to interview about Bound for...
You didn't get injured talking to you on the phone. It seems like everything he does, he gets injured. He breaks down more than a McDonald's ice cream machine at this point.
Oh gosh, they're worse in the UK, the ice cream machines.
McDonald's ice cream is delicious, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, my brother used to work in McDonald's, and he told me what goes into a McDonald's ice cream, and yeah, never eat McDonald's ice cream.
Nope, that makes me want to eat it more.
Oh gosh. Even when the machine's broken, like Brian Cage.
It's always broken. It really is always broken.
But I thought I'd point out something that he said in the interview I did with him, which is he is happy and looking forward to beating the shit out of you. So I wanted to know...
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm surprised if he'll even make it to the match. He'll probably injure himself walking in the building that night.
Oh god. And if he does make it into the building, what are the plans?
I'm going to injure him more, because everyone knows I don't care if he preaches about the stem cell research he's been doing in other countries or anything. Like, I'm going to try to break Brian Cage's back, because he's the type of guy that every company wants to be the figurehead and be the face of the company. They don't want a guy like me to be the face, but like it or not, at the end of October 20th at Bound for Glory in Chicago, Illinois, I'm walking out the Impact World Champion, and the world's going to have to listen.
And what will happen if Tessa Blanchard wins the X Division Championship and she decides
That's not going to happen either. She's not beating Jake Crist.
So, but what if she decides to invoke option C?
There's no what if, it's not happening.
Okay, and you're 100%...
I'm pretty sure Jake Crist might be the X Division champion forever at this point.
Yeah?
When the chips are down, I don't think anyone's beating him for that belt.
So, you're saying certain that your actions at OVE are going to dominate at Bound for Glory?
100%.
Is there anyone that you'd bring in to OVE to make it even stronger?
Oh no, I like our crew right now. I don't think we really need anyone else right now. We have a great crew of people, and I think the four of us can take over any wrestling company we work for.
And do you see like Sawyer Fulton progressing into other divisions as well? What if he won the X Division Championship, for example?
I think Sawyer Fulton, Madman Fulton, has unlimited potential. He's a guy that I pretty much handpicked to be an OVE. He's a guy that I worked with down in developmental,
yeah.
And I think he has a ton of potential that wasn't realized. I think he was beaten down mentally and physically for years, and wasn't the monster he's supposed to be, and I think under our guiding hand with OVE, he's starting to become the monster that he could be, and he's going to be one of the biggest stars in wrestling in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I remember watching developmental back in that time, and you could see all he was doing was losing. But now, I think under your guidance, he's...
Yeah, people don't realize that in real life he's a genius as well. He has a degree in marine biology and zoology, as well as he's probably one of the smartest human beings I've ever met. So on top of being a 6'8" monster, he's also a genius, which makes him extremely scary.
And do you think that you would bring him in as an X factor to your match with Brian Cage?
No, because anytime I've been in a big match of Impact, when all the chips are down the table, I do it on my own. Because even though I may use my guys, I may have a game plan at all points, I also like to prove to people that I'm the best professional wrestler walking this planet today. And I'm calling it right now. I'm going to pin Brian Cage clean in the middle of the ring at Bound for Glory.
Well, there's only one way that we can all find out, which is on the 20th of October, Bound for Glory, in Chicago, Illinois. And I just want to thank you again, Sami, for your time.
No, thank you.
And this is a platform for you now to promote anything you wish, so social medias or anything you want to.
Check me out on all social media platforms. My Twitter is at the Sami Callihan. My Instagram is at official Callihan. Don't be fooled by imposters. Both of my accounts are verified with that blue check mark. Also check out my side project, The Wrestling Revolver, at PW Revolver on all social media, and our website, ProWrestlingRevolver.com. Also, I'm about to open up a huge YouTube channel covering comedy, sports, and all other aspects of life. You can find out more information on Twitter by following that at Gimmick Suit.
Thank you to Sami, and once again, thank you to Shirleigh for sitting down and having a chat with the number one contender. So now it's time to go on to our main event for the Impact Wrestling Championship. Brian Cage versus Sami Callihan. And this has been going on for longer than a few months. This has been going on ever since Sami Callihan was the first person to pin Brian Cage, I believe at Homecoming in a 6-man tag team match. So we know that Sami has the ability and the capability to put one over the machine, but Brian Cage has been through it all in the last 12 months in Impact, from injuries to beatdowns to wives getting hit with bottles and being pile driven. It's been a year of ups and downs for Brian Cage.
The way I just see this is it's the machine versus the death machine.
And which machine is better? Is it just a normal machine or a machine with added death? Well, we are going to find out. This is very interesting because, it's very rare in any promotion that at your biggest event of the year, you have your number one and number two guys available in the right feud at the right time, where everything's boiled over to the point where it is ready for a mega main event, a big fight feel. And Impact have just nailed that because they've got their biggest face in Brian Cage. They've got their biggest heel in Sami Callihan. The stuff they've been doing on TV between these two has been tremendous, literally from Jump Street. And it's just all boiled over to the point where the pay-per-view is at the exact right time for these two to go head to head. And the phrase big fight feel, I feel, is defined for a match like this.
I completely agree. It's everything is right, but there is a lot riding on this match, as it's not only in a normal year when you've got all your deals are set and everything's going along quite nicely. Yeah, you want to get a big match on the biggest card of the year, or the biggest match you can do on the biggest match of the year, biggest card of the year. Sorry, but if this falls flat or doesn't go right, it could drastically affect them moving forward. Because this is the big point from now, is this is the end of the really, really poor period of just coming away from Pop TV, being on the Pursuit Network and Twitch and getting 10,000 fans at the most watching Impact. This is their big chance to move forward as, and grow as a company, realistically. Have more people watching them, have people talk about them and not just go, I remember TNA. So many people call them TNA. It's Impact Wrestling. They are completely different. They're not completely different, I know, but
they are. Well, you are. They're not, and they are. Yeah, you are right.
It's the legacy of their legacy is TNA, but they are no longer LOL TNA.
Yeah, they are Impact.
Yeah, but this is why I think it's really important for them now to move forward, because I think probably whoever comes out of this match as champion has the company on their shoulders, and there's a lot of weight that they're going to have to carry. Yeah. And this, realistically, whatever outcome of this match, it probably sets the next at least 12 months up for the company.
Yes.
There's a lot riding on this.
No question. This is a huge match, not just for the two participants, but the promotion as a whole. And honestly, I don't want to seem like I'm being too kiss-assy towards Impact, because I know obviously they've been very helpful in letting us chat to Sami and Brian, but I feel like they've got two quite safe pair of hands there when it comes to Brian and Sami.
They've got two guys that have worked in all the big places, really, are more than comfortable in front of big cameras, in front of big crowds, and have delivered. That's the big thing, These two guys wouldn't be in this position if, like, Don Callis and Scott D'Amore didn't believe they could deliver it, and that's really what it's about now. And
also said, like, it's built up nicely. Sami has been a complete dick.
No, but even with Sami, like, Sami basically said in that promo on Impact that realistically, he got a big contract when he was 24 years old, but was never given the actual opportunity to show how good of a wrestler he was and how good he could be. Impact have given him that, and this is his time to really make that difference.
And this has probably been, I think, for both men, this has been like the career year. Sami's really shown what he can do in the last 12 months. Brian Cage has really shown what he can do. Probably less, like, actually probably a bit longer, 18 months. Brian Cage has really come into his own, especially now he's been put on this platform. And this is a big deal because they are going into this new TV deal on a massive station where they're not only competing against all these other promotions around the world. They're competing with NWA, AEW, NXT, WWE. They're competing with, like, New Japan and WOW superstars on that channel. In regards of viewership and being the number one wrestling promotion on Access. So it's very interesting where this is going to go. For Sami's winning it. I feel like
Sami has to win it. I would be so shocked if he doesn't win this.
Yeah, I will not know where they're going with this in the future if Sami doesn't win. Also, I just feel like the momentum's on Sami's side. So I feel like Sami Callihan is going to be the new Impact champion. We know the road we're going down. We know we basically know the road we're eventually heading down, and there can be some speed bumps on the way. But yeah, this looks set to be an absolutely fantastic show. Impact, we've been crowing about it on the other podcast now, the Indie Wrestling Show, for the past year and a half about how good Impact is, and a lot of people in TWM and people on the outside have kind of jumped back in and realised, Impact's decent. Like, it's a really, really fun thing to watch, and it's a 2-hour show, which a lot of people cry out for nowadays, is having a 2-hour show to watch. It's a 2-hour show. It usually is very fast-paced. And it's got tremendous talent on there that you don't see a lot of places, and they're not afraid to try new things. And I'm very, very interested in all of this. But anyway, to wrap things up, if you want to watch Bound for Glory, and if you're in the UK and you want to watch it live, you can check it out on Fight.tv, the Fight app. It's very, very simple to go on there and order it. We'll be watching it on there. We'll be live tweeting the show. So make sure if you're watching it live, you can get involved in the conversation at TWM Wrestle, Instagram, Facebook, all the same at TWM Wrestle. You can go check out Shirley's predictions up on twm.news. Tomorrow, me and Mike will sit back down once again and we will review Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2019. And we've got loads of other stuff coming up. Besides, actually, in a few weeks' time, you'll hear an interview with myself and the current Impact Tag Team Champion, Ethan Page. It won't know happen till after the fact, but the current...
Don't give him a kiss of death.
The forever Impact Tag Team Champion, Ethan Page. I'm going to be sitting down with him in the next few days, and that will come out relatively soon. Yeah, that's pretty much it for our Bound for Glory 2019 preview. Mike, social media?
At Tony_Deppen.
Of course. I'm at Matty ID. As we said, we are TWM Wrestle. Enjoy Bound for Glory 2019. I'm going to have a very interesting day going to Bristol, watching Attack Pro, coming back from Bristol, going home and watching Bound for Glory. It's going to be a fun-filled and educational day for all concerned. Thank you for downloading. Please leave a rating, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, me and Mike will speak to you tomorrow.